How you doing, everybody? It's been a couple weeks since I made an episode. I got locked out of my channel for 4 or 5 days. I had a computer do a restart, and somehow lost my passwords and all the avenues I was trying to go down to get back into my stuff. I had changed phones at one point, and all my alerts were going to a phone I didn't have anymore, so I couldn't get back in. And finally, I got it figured out. But I hate tech. Hell, I mean, it's something I just don't thrive in very well, to be honest. When that goes awry, I certainly struggle with it. I'll say that. But I think we're going to be back up and running here. So today we're going to talk about a couple fun things. There's been a lot of stuff going on right now. I've been, of course, DJing again in Rochester, playing jazz, blues, soul, funk, reggae, some hip hop, classic rock, and just kind of driving the point home. Everything's rooted in jazz and the blues, and nothing really gets too far away from that. I mean, yacht rock's really just light R&B. I mean, 80s new wave, it's all just pop R&B. It's all just about pattern and groove, and it's all rooted in that black music in America. It's pretty universal and hard to escape how interwoven all that fabric is. But today we're going to start off by talking about Etta James. And I think for the majority of the landscape of music listeners, she's known or remembered for At Last, which you'll hear at most weddings you go to, and for a good reason. It's a great song, but by no means should that be the pinnacle and be all of what she's remembered for. I mean, it's obviously the tip of the iceberg that sits above the waterline, but she had a lot of charting songs on the R&B charts. And we're talking number 10, number 4, number 6, number 11, number 4, number 5, number 2. I mean, a lot of charting songs in the 60s. And been listening to this collection of hers, and I have most of her work at ARGO Cadet. And she's in the 4000 sequence versus the 600 sequence. And it's probably a little bit more R&B tinge, but it's not a clear demarcation of one being more poppy and what. I mean, it's really a blurred line between the two sequences. Why ARGO separates them, but her stuff's all in the one sequence for some reason. They're great records, and listening to it with my friend Brian, and I've actually been playing it at the bar. And what really is crystal clear is the gospel of the blues and the black church, R&B, soul. It all flows through her in such a gritty, streetwise kind of way. And if you were to compare Etta James of this time frame to what's happening in Detroit at Motown, which is a far more polished gemstone. I mean, the look and the appearance of the Motown artist was meant to be very saccharine, very approachable. And the music had a real cleanliness, and it was stripped of some of its grit, some of its street, some of its danger. And she's the counterbalance to all that. Over in Chicago, I mean, we're 6 hours apart. What she's doing at ARGO is so much street, more grit, more I'll whoop your ass. I mean, there's no vulnerability. There's no shuck and jive going on here. I mean, Etta clearly was I ain't gonna take no shit from nobody kind of girl. And her voice has all of this tough resilience, yet a soft cuddly approachability that speaks of a woman that I'm going to love you like no other woman's ever loved you until you cross me, and then prepare for the beatdown of your life. And it makes no apologies for its racial demarcation. It makes no apologies for its clear, soul, guttural utterance. It's so from the heart, it's so from the soul, it's so from the black church and the street. And it's stark how much grittier we're talking even largely just her voice and her expression and how she's not being fettered by a Barry Gordy saying, we need to make this approachable for white audiences. We need to kind of clean that up a little bit, take a little bit of that street out of there. Let's make you a little bit more Pat Boone. Can we do that? Can we Pat Boone you a little bit? And Etta just isn't that. ARGO Records wasn't that. I mean, the Cadet family, the Chess family, it was unfiltered black music from the street, from the soul. And it's refreshingly honest. It's so filled with integrity. And I love Motown. Don't get it twisted. But if you listen to Martha and the Vandellas, if you listen to Martha Reeves, if you listen to the Supremes, I mean, it has been polished. It has been presented with the chiffon and the hair, and it's just all put in such a way that it's not going to seem too dangerous, not going to seem too risky. And I mean, it's not by just random choice. That's the reason why Motown sold like it did, because it was reaching white America. And there's no question that those Motown records sold really well compared to what ARGO and Chess was doing. But ARGO wasn't trying to reach the white American suburbs. It just really wasn't. And it's so crystal clear to me after all the years of listening to R&B and the evolution of the music from the 40s into the 50s into the 60s into the 70s. Just listening to it, just how much more unwatered, unfiltered this is compared to a lot of its Motown counterparts. And that being said, it's just a wonderful, honest expose into the vulnerability and ultimate toughness of her life and her story. And I mean, I can't say enough how much I respect and love Etta James. And her records are all really worth purchasing on ARGO Cadet. Like I said, I think I have almost all of them, if not all of them. There's so much more to her than that last. And if you have any kind of perception at all of what I'm speaking about, put this on, grab one of her records and listen to it. And just listen to, I mean, there's a lot of guttural, don't be messing around kind of shit in there that I'm a huge fan of. And when you play it, it just feels very different than what you would hear from the more polished side of the aisle. Moving on, we're going to talk about Sonny Criss real quick. Sonny Criss was a West Coast alto player. This is on the Imperial label. What a fun record. Larry Bunker's on this. Sonny Clark, when he's still in the West Coast, is on this. It's a real fun post bebop, not really hard bop session. I really enjoyed it. I listened to it multiple times the other day. A fantastic player. He's light. He's fiery. He's certainly got some bebop sense to him, some Parker going on. You're not going to get a lot of Paul Desmond out of Sonny Criss. I mean, it's not just this kind of buoyant butterfly of a tone floating midair. This is much more poignant with much more velocity, much more targeted arrow. It's going to hit. It's going to be very succinct. I almost want to skip this song because chances of the episode being demonetized increase with that song being on there. But I mean, Criss is just a great player. his body of work is kind of spotty. He jumps around from label to label. His later Prestige work is good. He doesn't have the benefit of being on the Blue Note label, which really would have helped kind of elevate his name in today's collectors' minds. His 3 titles for Imperial are really, really great records from the 54, 55, 56 era. They're fantastic. West Coast, hard driving, post bop. Like I said, not really hard bop, but Criss was an interesting guy and certainly had a great expression and a great sorrow that he voices really quite wonderfully. And I wish he had recorded more in labels that have a higher esteem today, because I think his name would ring out a lot louder than it does. He's on par with all the greats on the alto, but again, he's just kind of a forgotten figure for the most part. Next, I want to talk to you about a couple interesting records. Also, going back to ARGO now, and this is later ARGO, 754, which will probably put it 64 maybe. 65, April 65. And what's really fascinating about some of the stuff that's happening here at ARGO at this point is the production is really, really outstanding. And while the whole record is really good, this is the great Illinois Jacquet, who, Texas tenorman, even though I think he was originally from Oklahoma or Louisiana, if I remember, but he was considered one of the great Texas tenormen. Jacquet's a real bridge between your first generation of tenor greats, Ben Webster, Lester Young, Coleman Hawkins, and your next generation of guys like John Coltrane and Sonny Rollins. Guys like Illinois Jacquet and Dexter Gordon are kind of that bridge in between those eras. Because you have the war, bebop kind of comes along. And Jacquet had a real ability to play jump blues, R&B, inflected, jazz, a real great storyteller, a real great expressionist, a very lyrical tone, rich and full. The Texas tenormen often use an oversized reed to give them a richer, fuller kind of vibration in their tone. So if you played an alto, you'd often use a tenor reed, a thicker, fuller reed. If you played baritone, you use a tenor, or if you played tenor, you use a baritone reed. And so, I mean, it's interesting kind of history there with the Texas tenorman. But Jacquet was a great stylist, a great kind of overlooked player in today's landscape. But he jumps around a lot from label to label. His work for Norman Granz at Clef is fantastic. But the stuff here at ARGO in the early mid-60s is really actually great. Rhythm and blues, inflected. It's got some of the jump blues legacy that's kind of alive in it. These records were still being made for black communities, yet they're still kind of accessible and very listenable. This is not the hard bop or the avant-garde of Herbie Hancock and what was happening at Blue Note by 64. This is not Empyrean Islands whatsoever. This is a much more melodically centered, it's the kind of blues, jazz, R&B that you could go to a club and still hear in Chicago. And you're not going to go to very many jazz clubs and actually hear the avant-garde. I mean, if there's a featured artist, that's one thing. But if you're just in a regular jazz venue, this is the kind of music you're still going to be hearing. It's still very much the vernacular that's spoken in the language of jazz. And a jam session that just shows up, pops up anywhere. Stuff like this is what's going to be played. It's a really fun record. But in particular, the track Now and Then, the production on it is just so incredible. So modern. And if I remember, it's engineered by Roy Hall. It's not actually who I thought it was, but recorded in New York City, like I said, in April of 65. And Jacquet is just fantastic. But what's really fantastic here is the production on this song. When I play this, it sounds like something that would be on a modern lounge compilation. I play it in the club. Why? I'm just going to play it for you. And All right, so this is the one I actually wanted to play. Listen to how modern this sounds. It's pretty nuts. I mean, it's it sounds like something Budo's band recorded last month. This is the track Now and Then. Listen to how rich that Jacquet, boy. And the guitar playing on this is really of note. The guy's name I think is Joe Diorio. Or Diorio, I think maybe it is. I'm not sure. Grady Tate's on the drums. Although it looks like on this one, the guitar actually might be Eric Gale. So, this record also has a song on it, which I think I've talked about this one before. But the modernity of that production is really next level. Like I said, it sounds like something straight from a modern lounge groove R&B act. This one here, same thing going on. This is Benny Green and Sonny Stitt. And again, this production, it's just, there's a kick, there's a click, there's a sound to it that's, it really is incredibly modern lounge. It's fucking fantastic. And this one is Joe Diorio on the guitar here. It really has very little that dates it. And Sonny and Benny Green are both fantastic. Green's a great lyrical bone player. Stitt's a fantastic sax player. And it's got a great ARGO backing rhythm section on it. But, I mean, these two songs, the records are fantastic all the way through. But this song on each one of these records really jumps out as just being perfect cocktail, lounge hour, jazz. Like I said, the Budo's band, Sharon Jones, that tone label stuff, they're channeling that today still. And it's something that, I mean, Amy Winehouse and even Adele to a bit of a degree, it's just something so still the vernacular. Yet the production on this from 50, 60 years ago, it still sounds absolutely modern. And I mean, I play it, and even the production level, the voicing on the vinyl itself, it's loud and clear and succinct. And sometimes you play stuff that's older, and it can have almost less of a fidelity to it when you play it next to something maybe more modern or current or 80s R&B. I mean, or 80s pop. I mean, put some Peter Gabriel on, or some Phil Collins, and it's all just really well produced and really has a large impact and a sonic punch. It feels like it's all right there in the mix. This has that same level of sonic audacity. It's right there. And it's fun to be able to find these recordings from that era that still feel as modern and still feel absolutely timeless. And that song was called like Fire and Ice or Flame and Frost. And so it's cool to see that ARGO, I mean, even Blue Note, for all its glory and prestige in Riverside, they don't really have songs that feel quite like that. There's a lot of R&B, there's a lot of rhythm and blues, and like I said, a bit of a lounge act to it. You could have some glitter or lame on your suit to play that, and you're not going to have that playing the Boogaloo at Blue Note. I mean, the Boogaloo still was very gritty, and this has a level of polish and production that feels almost show tune, yet still with a very soulful. I mean, it's not Sinatra Dean Martin in any way. It's not saccharine in any way. It's still very much brothers bringing you some real grit, yet it just sounds so amazing. So those are two real secret hidden gems on those two Argo records. And to be honest with you, I want to dig more into that era because there's 744 and 754 in the Argo sequence. And I have pretty much all the records from that era. So I need to go through a lot of the other stuff in that era because I bet you there's a lot of other hidden gems in there that will really be similar production-wise and be great additions to my set. I just have been really busy right now with a lot of things going on. I'm working part-time for my brother. There's a lot of moving pieces. Still trying to keep the coffee shop going. Money's been so tight. If you can help support the channel in any way, please do. It's been slow. A lot of tension just politically and economically right now. So if you want to help support the channel, either go to my Patreon page and donate, pledge a donation there, or YouTube thanks. But the best is going to PayPal, so it helps me pay this month's bills. I get that right away. I hate to ask for money, but it's, again, this is a resource. This isn't just my living situation. It's a resource for people to come in and be able to talk jazz with me. I had a friend, John, come in the other day. He was on his way to Madison, if I remember. I think he was coming from the cities or something. He watches the channel, and we talked a good hour about jazz and the music. And I love when people from the channel can make it in and we can talk. It's always great to sit down face to face and have a conversation with someone who loves this music and understands the importance of it. So anyway, happy to be back in the fold and getting a new episode up. Y'all be safe. Have a great day. We'll talk to y'all soon. My name is Dan the Jazz Shepherd. Peace.